Right, I will call this meeting to order at 5:45 of the International Falls Economic Development Authority. Please note, 4 out of the 5 members are present, with Commissioner Jacksaw absent for vacation. Anybody in the audience want to address the EDA at this time? All right, next we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from our June 20th, 2016 regular meeting.
Move approval.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, question.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Vote yes. Motion carries. All right, next the financial reports. For June 30th, we have total assets of $328,419.03. Your pleasure with the balance, or with the, with the financial report.
Move.
We have a motion by Commissioner Briggs.
I'll second.
We have a second by Commissioner Kaler. Discussion on the balance sheet. Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right. We don't have any accounts payable. We'll move to the transfer of funds from the EDA Fund 208 to the Economic Development Fund 809 for the city purchase of the Miggins property. Peter Anderson.
Mr. President, members of the EDA, the council had taken some action for the purchase of the Miggins property transferred from the EDA to the City Council. A number of years ago, $20,000, the budget's been followed up from year after year. There was $20,000 set aside for professional services and $112,000 for the acquisition of the property. And I believe it goes back to 2012. It might even predate that. And so I believe the source of those funds were monies that were transferred from the city to the EDA. Because the accusation, or we're acquiring it through the EDA versus the city, what we're proposing is that those funds be transferred back from the EDA to the city, because the acquisition is going to be in the city's name. Now, some funds have been expended over the course of this most recent past for paying for the city attorney fees, as well as some work that Arrow of the North is doing on surveying the property and trying to complete the land transaction. So I can't give you a firm number about the number that has to be transferred, but what we are intending is that you transfer all the money, and then staff will do journal entries to try and reconcile the accounts to show what's been spent exclusively for Miggins property acquisition and the professional services exclusively for or related to Miggins property. Actually reflected in or transferred over to the 809 fund from the 208, which is the EDA fund.
I would move approval of the transfer of funds from the EDA Fund 208 to Economic Development Fund 809 for the purchase of Miggins property.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second to transfer the funds from the EDA Fund 208 to the Economic Development Fund 809. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Please.
Question for the city attorney. Given the report that you had at the last city council meeting with regard to the sustainable forestry initiative and the year and a half, anything further that come forth on that?
Absolutely, and I apologize. I should have mentioned this during the city council meeting, but it slipped my mind. I got an email today while I was in court, and I haven't responded to it yet, but I saw it, and we had written a letter and sent some information to the state last week, and they responded saying that yes, they were going to remove this from the Sustainable Forest Initiative, and we would not be precluded from getting a conservation easement on this. And so I'm just awaiting. I've gotten that in an email. I'm expecting to get a more formal document sometime within the next couple of days. But once I receive that, we'll be delivering. I've been holding a check in my office for $56,000 for the first half of that payment. And I expect sometime this week we'll be able to deliver that and do the closing, because we'll have written assurance from the state that we can do this conservation easement, and the Sustainable Forest Initiative will not preclude us from doing that. So that's good news.
Department of Revenue is waiving.
Yes, Department of Revenue is going to waive it.
Very good.
That's excellent.
Perfect.
Appreciate you coming back.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, next on the agenda is a verbal update about the proposal by Mariner Farms, but Commissioner Jacksaw is absent. Administrator Anderson, do you have anything to add to that? Or
Just very briefly, it was her intention, because of a storm, Bruce Carmen couldn't attend the EDA Advisory Board meeting last month, so the intention was to have him attend, and the meeting is scheduled tomorrow. But because of her vacation and time off, and also she's going to push that off till next month, so I don't know exactly what the date is. The EDA Advisory Board is actually meeting tomorrow morning, and one of the things on their agenda is to reconsider their meeting date. It taxes the staff, us, to try and put the agenda for the EDA, the City Council, and the Advisory Board all together on Friday before today and tomorrow. So we're probably suggesting that it sounds like they want to continue to meet in the mornings, so we're suggesting that they meet on the second Tuesday of the month at 7:15 rather than the third Tuesday of the month, so that they could meet roughly a week before you as an EDA meet, and if there's any recommendations that they want to bring forward, then that would be relatively current, and it would be just so what we're proposing. But depending on when the date gets changed, then she will coordinate with Bruce Carmen to try and meet sometime next month, whenever that meeting will be.
thank you. Next item on our agenda is about the email message. It's an update from the Great Northern Transmission Line, option to purchase the easement. It sounds pretty good. If you guys have had an opportunity to read it, it sounds as if we'll be able to move forward with that. Am I correct in that assumption? So we're just waiting on that now too as well, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Any new business to come before the EDA? All right, hearing none, we will adjourn.